that.
Anyone's spending more time. Is that why all goes in there, or was there another issue?
That was I was trying to call you this morning that car into the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got out there.
Right. We just need to update our contact list because Officer Cohen still had Jim Henderson is the building contact.
Oh,
PD?
Yeah.
All right, I will gladly send an email to the police department to let them know to contact.
Yes.
so Finance Committee of June 11th, we'll call to order, and we have Councilmember Fullerton and myself here, and Councilmember Hoopler is absent. So we don't have a fill-in, unfortunately, kind of like a lot of people were gone instantly over the thing, so
Yeah.
we'll go with what we have, I guess. Any changes to the minutes there?
No.
So department reports, personnel update from Brian Sandler.
Good evening. I did have a finance committee HR staff update in the packet. We have 2 maintenance worker ones working in the sewer starting on the 16th. So that's exciting. We got them started. A lateral police officer also starting on the 16th. Their hire dates are the 16th, but actually starting on the 17th. So for our payroll processes, we like to put them in on the 16th. Another person starting soon is a legal intern, unpaid, so that's exciting for them. And we also have had a bunch of seasonal hires coming on this month and early next month.
Those, maintenance workers, the seasonal laborers, right? Is there some of those that are set in that, period that we keep over or whatever that we allocated funds for, or are these just the extra over and above those guys?
These are the seasonal extra hires that come on each year around this time and usually work through end of August, early September.
Yeah, so these are not.
Yeah, these are not a limited term.
Right.
Type stuff.
Yeah.
Questions?
Moving along, then we'll go to the recreational budget report. David Wells, I think Sherry is not here, so we just had some information that she forwarded to us for where we're at, and I think just, there's a lot of interest on the council, of course, Mr. Wells, on how well we're doing over there. Do you have any issues and stuff that you foresee here? So, like, take it away.
We, as Ms. Ryerson sent out, the numbers from the end of May were at about 255,000 for expenses and about 200 for revenue. So we're at about almost a $55,000 in the negative at the moment. Keeping in mind that a lot of our summer camp revenue has been coming in. Summer camp is filling quickly. We've added a couple of weeks toward the end of the summer as well. And so even though the revenue has come in, those expenses won't be realized until July and August. So right now we're sitting at 78.5% of cost recovery. And for this fall, we're looking at starting up a sponsorship program, getting that ball rolling. And additionally, in a recent meeting with John and the mayor, we were looking at online software to get something rolled out. And so we have recently just sent out an RFP to 6 different companies to have them turn in a proposal for software to see if we want to go with a newer version or if we want to stick with TPAR. And once all those come in, they're due in Sunday night. So we will start looking at those next week. One of the companies, Explore, will be here at 3 o'clock on Monday, and you're invited to come listen to their presentation if you'd like. They just want to give us some more information on their overall program, how it can work. City of Tukwila is currently using Explore. And I had a conversation today with Civic Plus, and Kirkland, Spokane, Bellevue are using them, so they're planning on submitting a proposal as well.
Yeah, I think I heard from the council and I agree that, the mobile application, that's pretty important. So you give the high points to the folks that have a good mobile app. Seems to be that, most people want to be able to use a mobile version of it a lot of times.
And that's one of the things that's been requested, is that probably the majority of the use will actually be on a phone. So they'll need to make sure that it's either a very app-friendly web page or that they actually have an app our participants can register through.
So Explore and Civic Plus are both like payment programs.
It's a robust registration program.
Okay.
So conceivably, whichever program we decide after we go through this process, you'll be able to log in and register any of your kids for any programs and then pay right there on the app or on the website. And then on the back side, we will get a report as to who all is signed up. One of the things that Civic Plus said today is, let's say Brian was one of our instructors. Brian can get a login and go in through an instructor portal and just download his class roster, and the staff wouldn't have to necessarily download and then send off the roster for him. So there's going to be a lot of evaluation going on in the next couple of weeks once he's come in. And then we'll bring a couple of those forward, and then we'll do some interviews with the top 2 or 3 that we feel and really get into the nuts and bolts and what can they really do, and we'll let you know when we're at that stage.
And they'll work with the Tyler system that we have.
They won't have a full-on integration because Tyler's products are, not sure what the right word is. They're not going to go give out all of their behind-the-scenes software stuff. But for instance, Civic Plus does have a button that can download the file, and then we would have to upload the file.
Okay.
But they do work with Tyler, and they have a number of cities that are already using Munis. Because I know that that's something coming down the road, so that's part of the whole equation.
Just the challenges with because I think we had some information that we have some kind of a system or had some version of something today or something that is feature rich is what you needed or something, or that.
The current module we have, Tyler Parks and Recreation, it's one we've gone through different staff and training, and it's been on the cumbersome side when we've gone through trainings. And so we just wanted to make sure that if that's what we're going to go with, that the other programs aren't meeting or exceeding what it can provide.
So they'll be, David and the rest of our staff will be reviewing those while we're down at AWC, and then David and the mayor and myself have a meeting scheduled for Monday, the
24th.
20th. We'll be back from AWC. Anything else, Glenn?
No, not right now.
Thanks, David.
I actually changed my mind. So, because we get these updates from Sherry usually before the meetings or monthly updates, but is it possible for you to submit in writing, like your progress or what you're doing before the meeting so that we can get it on the agenda and have, like I have Brian here, I've got all of the names of people who are, he's hiring, and then we have like this agenda here. So we've got all of the information that we need for that. So if you could submit, before the next finance meeting, you know, any requests that you have or any updates that you have on things that are, you know, that can be given to us in writing, other than, you know, because I just get like this little tiny email from Sherry and it's usually separate from my packet. So then I've got to go back through and try to find that. But it would be nice to have something in the packet or something in writing from you so that we can, you know.
So what type of
Study it.
information are you looking for? Just so I make sure, because
Well, you're saying like right here, you're at 54,000 or something, right? Under or whatever, under budget or over budget.
over budget right now.
Yeah. So.
Which I just took her numbers and I just
Yeah.
did the math here on my
Yeah.
phone, is all I did.
Okay. So, and like any of the, like maybe the companies that you're talking to, so that I have like the names, I don't have to like write them all down, you know, just updates. And then like your numbers, if, you know, whatever you can provide, like if or if I send you a specific question, then just, you know, have it printed, you put into the packet so that we
Okay.
have it on the agenda, you know, so.
It's kind of like what's happening in the rec department.
Yeah, exactly, because we've kind of been keeping rec on the agenda. So it would be nice to, you know, kind of have the updates ahead of time so that we know what you're doing, you know, just kind of keep us up to date so we know what's going on. And, you know, if you're changing prices, if you're, you know, if you're raising prices, or you're looking at companies, you're looking at sponsorships with such and such and such, you know. And, or I had a meeting with MRAC, or I didn't have, you know, if you didn't have one, then, you know, it obviously didn't happen. But just, you know, who are you meeting with? What's your progress moving forward to kind of get these numbers down, right? Or, you know, staying within budget. What are you working on to stay within budget, right? So
I guess there's two parts. One, salary is going to be 450,000 for the whole year.
yeah.
There's nothing we can do to bring that down.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
And so our expenses are directly proportional to whatever revenue we're bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
So if, for instance, we charge you $100 to come to Play Park, let me come up with a good example here before I.
Sure.
So,
Sure. Count.
So if we do cheer camp
Mm-hmm.
and it costs $100 for you to participate, we're going to get $30 of that and 70 goes to the school.
Mm-hmm.
If we have two participants, then we're going to get $60, but 140 goes to the school. So it's tough to really predict what the revenue is going to be, but the expenses are going to be based on whatever comes in.
So whoever signed up, however
So-
many students.
So are you
have.
saying now
or
for
participants
every
you
couple
have,
of weeks, you want how many people we had signed up for every program?
Well, like, are you making progress to make sure that your budget is as close to what
We're-
your budget items are as possible? So what progress are you making? Are you going to be raising, you know, prices? Are you going to renegotiate the 70-30? You know, when is that? Because I know that you were thinking about that at some point. And then if we're getting sponsors, then will that help to cover the $450,000 in employee costs? How many employees do we have that are on payroll for your
3.5 FTEs. And then we have a number of seasonals or part-time
Okay,
staff.
so that's the number of seasonals is actually included in that 450,000?
Yeah.
Or is that just your basic, your common? Used to call them your core 4 or whatever, but
Correct.
you lost one or something, right? Yeah.
And without the seasonals, you can't run a day camp. So there's the expenses automatically in order to be able to bring in the revenue.
Mhm.
David, remind me, you do have thresholds for programs, meaning you only have 10 people sign up for dog obedience. You need 15 to make it run.
Correct. So if we took the salary portion of our budget out of the equation, every program makes money. It's a matter of trying to sell enough widgets, enough programs, enough soccer balls, enough t-shirts, enough cheer camps, enough day camps to try to make up that 450,000.
Do you sell like t-shirts and things like that to the parents if they want to support their kids, like kind of spirit wear type stuff where
No.
you could make some money on the side? Sell some
We-
little pom-poms for the cheer moms.
Not that I'm
Go,
aware of.
honey, go. I would do that. I would buy them. Number one foam finger. For my little guy playing football. Okay. I was
Kind of the
just
executive
thinking
summary
of
kind of
ways to
thing.
make extra money, but. So and if you can't meet the threshold of what you need, then do you cancel that program for like this, say you have Pee Wee soccer and you need to have 20 kids sign up in order to make it, meet the needs financially, but you only have 10 sign up. So are you canceling that program or are you going to continue with it?
So last fall, we did cancel our Monster Mash Dash because we didn't have enough people sign up.
Yeah.
So occasionally some programs do get canceled because there's not enough. But again, part of the problem is if we're looking for a program to be fully self-supported and you're including salaries, nothing will ever be fully self-supported unless you're going to an elite sport such as MRFC or Little League, Bonney Lake Sumner Little League, or the lacrosse team, because those teams have to have enough money to pay for everything. The salaries are always the biggest hurdle to recoup.
Numbers in the end, right?
But we're not. So that's, we need to figure out,
Do we think we're not?
what, huh?
Do we think we're not though? 'Cause-
Well, I mean, if we're over budget,
oh, but, yeah.
I mean, are we gonna meet the $148,000 budget or?
That's what we're shooting for.
Okay. So, well,
I mean-
that was just my question, like if we're close to at least sticking to that. Cause,
Be more than close, that's kind of what we have.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we need to be there.
I mean,
But,
we've
yeah.
been looking at the budget for 25, 26.
Yeah.
And pre-COVID, we had Kids Love Soccer. It was about a $40,000 program that we had coming into in for revenue, but Kids Love Soccer does not have a coach in our area anymore.
Yeah.
So to try to replace a $40,000 program or trying to replace a $600,000 program is not an easy program to replace lickety split.
Right. Was Kids Love Soccer, was that a company? Or-
Yes, it's a national company that they have programs in different areas where they provide soccer coaches, and recreational organizations such as ours will hire them out on a split of some form to have them do all of the coaching, and the municipality and the recreation program just do all of the rostering and registration for them.
And what was the percentage on that? Was that 70-30 also? Is MRAC willing to do that since they mostly do soccer, or Kelly Farm soccer?
They would take the whole program. They would take our whole Pee Wee program,
Uh-huh.
which our Pee Wee program is
So it
about
wouldn't be a
$60,000.
70-30 split.
No, it would be, there's $60,000 gone out of our budget when we're trying to raise enough to cover salaries.
Right.
So really by giving them the soccer program, it's another huge portion of the funding
Gone.
that you're wanting us to come up with
Mhm.
to get back to as close to zero as possible.
Right. Okay, got it. Okay, I think I'm good.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, David. Next item would be our motion consideration for establishing a fleet division.
Yes. So, every time we have retirements and changes in the department, we always kind of do an internal assessment of whether or not we're heading in the right direction, or if we need to change direction based on evolving needs and demands of the city. The two that kind of are driving this are the retirement of Doug Bazinski, who was our former city engineer, and Chris Weber, who was our former administrative supervisor. After reviewing kind of the needs of the department and the economies of scale that were captured by moving us all into one building. As you know, we were merged into one public services department in 2017, but we existed in two buildings until about a year and a half ago. And so there was a lot of duplication of effort on the administrative side. So by moving this into one building, we begin to see some economies of scale that we take advantage of. And then the need for a fleet division really has been jumping off the page as we start to look kind of at our fleet in a more holistic manner. Currently, the memo says 140 vehicles. I was wrong. It's actually 172 vehicles and 120 pieces of equipment is the current size of your fleet with an approximate value of about $11 million. Given the size of our fleet, the fact that we're doing more fleet services in-house, we really feel at this time it's really need to have a fleet division with a fleet manager. One of the principal objectives of having a fleet manager is to make sure that when we're replacing vehicles, we're replacing them at the right time, not keeping them too long, keep them just long enough. Because when you replace a vehicle too early, that's just another expense the city has to take on. When you replace the vehicle at the right time, you're getting the most out of that investment for the taxpayers. And so we really need somebody who's monitoring the fleet, the wear and tear on the fleet, in kind of a coordinated way. Right now, fleet services is kind of scattered out among the department, among administrative staff, assistant superintendents, and other staff members. So there's not really one person kind of with their eyes on and kind of dedicated to that function. And also this would allow for right now, the assistant superintendent has fleet, also has streets and storm. So he's got his hands kind of all over the place, trying to manage three very distinct and different functions. This would allow us to bring the two mechanics and a fleet manager into a fleet division and kind of get our span and control back to where it needs to be and really create a fleet division that can make sure we're implementing our goals for fleet and taking care of our assets in the best way so that we're getting the most out of that investment. To kind of support this, there's kind of proposed reorganization that would occur in our department. Currently, our administrative support division consists of an administrative support supervisor, two administrative assistant threes, and an administrative assistant two. The proposal would be to reclass the existing administrative two position to an administrative three position and eliminate the administrative three position. As I said, we're getting some economies of scale over there that kind of allows us to get down to kind of a smaller administrative staff. Additionally, in talking with our city engineer, what's really needed on the engineering side is not another assistant city engineer. We already have a city engineer, and Andrew Fond is an assistant city engineer. We're authorized a second assistant city engineer. And talking with Ken, what the engineering staff needs is really a person with engineering experience or background or knowledge that can support capital, can support our MPDS requirements, can support development review. The engineering staff needs somebody that can float among and provide that technical engineering assistance to their work. So the proposal would be to eliminate the vacant assistant city engineer position and add an engineering assistant position. We're working to change the title because it's getting confusing because there's the assistant city engineer and the engineering assistant. As this rolls out, we're going to come up with engineering something. Technician, specialist, something that just creates a little bit more distinction. At the end of the day, the result to the city from a budgetary or FTE standpoint is there is no change in FTEs. And on the budgetary side, it's basically a net neutral cost. We're eliminating salaries that are equal to the salaries that we're proposing to add. So this is a way to reorganize a little bit of the department in a way that better supports both the engineering staff, better supports fleet and fleet operations, and takes advantage of those efficiencies that we're seeing on the administrative side. As this does impact union positions, we are working with the ASME union. We met with them last week. We have another meeting scheduled tomorrow. And so we are continuing to have those conversations as well. Answering questions.
So that ASME union position there, that's the one that we're talking about not needing anymore. Administrative assistant 2 or something?
Yes. And then also adding an ASME union position as the engineering assistant.
So how many, don't we have administrative assistant 2 positions elsewhere or whatever?
Yes, we're only eliminating the one in our department. Not it from the whole organization, just we're currently authorized 2 3s and a 2. We're proposing basically just have a 2 3s, and that's it.
And the union's been okay so far.
I don't want to speak on behalf of the union. I'm not the union rep. I want to say we're in conversations with them and answering questions that they're having and getting more conversations.
So it's just like, kind of really not really getting rid of anybody. It's like changing title and then you're moving somebody up a notch and moving somebody else lateral. So
So
essentially it's gonna be costing the same.
it's going to be, yes, at the end of the day, it's costing the same. One person will be getting reclassed. The other 2 positions are currently vacant. And when all the reorganization happens, new individuals who are not could be compliant with the city, are not in those positions, they would be hired into those positions.
Right, okay.
The only person that's reclassed would be the current administrator 2 position gets reclassed in administrator 3. As I said, you included that's okay.
So, and very well laid out, by the way, you did a great job, as you normally do, writing all this stuff up. So on the reorg piece of that, where you have, I know it's not directly in this, but you know, you have your assistant city engineer, Andrew Fonda or whatever, and the organization shows that he supervises the GIS analysts or something like that.
Yes.
As part of that, because that's, you know, I've looked at a couple of the organizational charts there. It's kind of strange to me that you have one person supervising another person, right? You know, and right. You know, normally you don't have a supervisor supervising one person.
Yeah, that's just the way it's currently laid out. I don't know if there's a thought that, you know, it might change as we kind of explore this more, but that's currently the way it was laid out when we did the reorganization back in 2017.
Yeah.
And previously, Andrew Fonda had multiple people, but
Yeah.
one of the positions retired and was not filled going forward. So he lost one of his direct reports.
Right. Yeah. It was that was that other GIS analyst or something.
No, that was actually Phil Strand. He was also supervising the electrician.
Oh yeah.
That was just last year, early last year.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I actually went over this with Jason yesterday, so I asked a lot of questions.
Um.
So the proposal right now is to move it to full council, move it to the June 25th city council meeting. Look at everything, you know, we wish that side of it, or June 24th. Yeah, pending union discussions. I will let,
It would be very interesting to know what the union, you know, what the result of that union is, right?
you want it full council.
Oh, yeah, because it doesn't go, I don't think this one's been.
Yeah,
done
I think we're updated.
or something like that, so it's actually. Won't have consent. That work?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Did I put pending union talks?
Yeah, whatever that is, however the administration wants to do that, if they get hung up over there, they'll probably not move it forward until they get some result, or, you know, that's kind of the administration's thing.
Yeah, we gotta work through, we're working through that.
Yeah, but.
My Rubik's
All
Cube.
that, right?
I know full council. We're getting ready.
There sure is,
If they move without it.
So open discussion items. I know, thank you, Gwen, I received that draft you have out there. We'll get that through and get that on for the council policies.
Yeah.
And then for the next available council finance committee, so we get that one done.
Yeah, Dina's looking at it now and, what is she? Deputy, is there assistant,
City attorney.
city attorney, yeah, Dina Burt, she's looking, into that for me.
Sure,
And
right.
then we should hopefully have a final draft
Yeah.
for the
exactly,
next
yeah.
finance meeting to look at.
I appreciate it, thanks. Any other open committee discussion?
I can't think of anything. Wow.
Any updates from the mayor? I'll get over here going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
It looks like, didn't you say, Jason, that almost every open position for the last 5 years is now almost completely full?
We're this close. So yeah, we have not had a full department staff in about 4.5, 5 years. I've been pushing Brian pretty hard, so I want to say thank you on the record. When I took over, one of my initial goals was to try to have us fully staffed by June 1st. I think we're going to miss it by maybe a month, depending on what happens. So right now, the only 2 vacant positions in the department are the assistant city engineer and the administrative 3 position, which are part of the reorg. But other than that,
The facilities maintenance position, we're interviewing tomorrow for that one.
What does the facility maintenance do?
The maintenance worker 2 in facilities, when Mike Engler moved up to a lead, it left a vacant spot for that. So it's the,
maintaining all of
Yeah.
our.
All of the buildings?
Yeah.
Okay, this one, the public works
Works
department,
department,
the
the senior
police
center,
department.
the
Yeah.
police department.
Soon the modular.
So, we
Yeah.
have probably over 100,000 square feet of buildings
Space, right.
that needs to be maintained, you know, and it's routine stuff too, like air filters and light bulbs. It's more than one person can handle, so we have the second facilities worker that was approved, and that's what's left to be.
Oh, I have a question too, because, did we ever replace the elevator door? Because, oh, it got replaced. Okay.
No longer.
I know it got approved, but I didn't, I guess I can't, an elevator door looks like an elevator door or something.
I think it was more the mechanics inside the door.
Fun pieces in there. Is there, so, could we pass that thing for the carpet in that modular, right?
That's on tonight's agenda.
Well, hopefully it will get, and then they're gonna scenario, get that done or whatever, and we gotta sign the agreement, or they gotta sign the agreement, the historical society.
Yeah, Leslie's taking a lead on that for us.
Yeah, we have a full harmless so that we can get them moved in and then what's the point? So,
So, we take care of it.
I know
They're like, the Lions Club is like, hey, ours is 2 pages, and the historical.
it's not 2
Society's like,
pages, but I am working to reduce the number of pages on the historical, that's why it's taking so long.
kind of thing.
So, yeah.
So we get those guys moved over there. then
Yeah,
we're
so
able to vacate the.
we got permission from everybody to move them while the lease is still pending, because they don't have a lease now.
Yeah.
To move them into the building. That will clear the way for Chuck to get the last of the IT components cleared out. And then the goal is to begin the demolition of the buildings in the September, October timeframe over there.
So you already got the whatever the asbestos cleaning.
Asbestos survey has been done. Money is in the budget for the contract. The only thing we have to do is get the demo permit, which is submitting the asbestos survey.
City state coverage.
No, demo permits we do pretty quick. Not a lot to look at.
It's like good.
Asbestos survey check, next building's going away. Not a lot on this.
Everybody's been wondering, like, make sure that.
Is the carpet on the consent agenda or is it on the?
No, it's on finance. Yeah, all those items got put on the finance committee.
All right.
For now, that was all of it.
It is a budget item, I guess, so talk about that tonight.
Sure.
All right.
I don't have anything else, so I guess
I don't.
we're gonna adjourn then.
Wow.